bottom. People call you the underdog. They think you're the underdog, but you're at the bottom. But we going straight to the top.
Straight to the top.
Today, we kings.
I'm a king, sometimes I feel like I'm petty. In the pits living my dream, I don't think that they ready. Yeah, Area 51 podcast right here. You already know what we do. We're gonna talk about a little bit of racing, and we're gonna talk about pacing back and forth. We're trying to figure out who gonna win and who gonna come at the bottom. Let's go. This is Cap Houston right here. Bobby, what you got for me?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Bobby. We've got Rob and Dave. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
And we've got our second time on the show, episode 1, from the beginning to episode 28, where we're at now. We've got Mark Nelson, Mark Mullen, and Ryan Delaney. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. I appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, doing awesome.
Very well. Excited for the big announcement, Bobby. The huge announcement that's coming out today.
All right. So, as you guys know, Rob and I have been hyping up Pocono. Dave, we still wish you could be there, man.
I know.
We are going to show you guys something special. This is going to be the Pocono car right here. And we'll let Mark and Ryan kind of wheel it. It's their baby.
Well, listen, for our relationship with Ryan personally and professionally, we always do cars together between Spartan Waste and Fox Sports Spartanburg and alternate positions on the car. But the big news here, there are a lot of repeat sponsors that are on this car, including Alliance Driveway and Impel Union, Beech Ridge Barbershop. But for the first time ever, we're so darn excited. We've got the 51 Racing Podcast on the car. Right there past the number before the tire. It's outstanding.
Looks good.
There she
It
is.
looks awesome.
Thank you guys very much for that, by the way.
That's really
Yes.
cool.
Thank you for blessing us to be on your car. That's with you guys. That's an honor and a privilege that we greatly appreciate.
It's well deserved. It looks good too.
Can't
Yes.
wait to see it. Definitely can't wait to see it in person.
We're taking some items to the hauler tomorrow before they head out, and I usually get a chance to take a glimpse of it, and take a glimpse at it, and it's what did you say, about 60-70% done at this moment right now as we speak.
Yeah, big A's on the car. It will be fully wrapped by end of business tonight. And, I think probably all three of us at some point will be at the shop tomorrow, get some pictures, which we'll be happy to share. But on a side note and offline, Bobby, Robert, if you want anything delivered to the hauler, a beverage of your choice, just text me and we'll make sure that gets taken care of for this weekend.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Just let us know. But it will be there. I went talked to them earlier. They're trying to head out tomorrow. So
Late tomorrow, correct?
late tomorrow, and so they're pretty close on the car. So we try to make sure we get there early so we have the provisions necessary for race day.
We definitely need a video so we can so you guys can post it on the Facebook or Instagram or whatever going around the car.
We'll take care of things tomorrow for sure.
So, first, like I said, welcome back. Episode 1 to episode 28. What are your guys' thoughts?
I'm glad that he got some of the bad luck out of the way last week in Chicago. We're teed up for a tremendous weekend. Like I said before, Mark said before, we haven't been there. Ryan has, so we'll be following his lead. We were just discussing what time we need to leave for the airport and all that. So the excitement's building right here in the Spartan Waste and Fox Sports Spartanburg area here. And I can't wait to make the trip, and my wife's looking forward to it. It's going to be a great weekend.
And
I think we're really fortunate. We've got Matt and his wife coming down from Maine, from Beech Ridge. We've got Mike and his grandson Braden going to be with us as well, which is always a bonus and always such a pleasure. So, I think for the guys that are there as sponsors, spectators in the pit area, we're going to have a swell time. And hopefully, as Mark just said, the bad luck came out in Chicago, and we end up with a great race this weekend.
We're gonna end up in victory lane.
And amen. Listen, if we do that, we're all extending our stay.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And that means you're coming down, Dave, because I'm flying you down.
Unfortunately for me, that's up.
Well,
Well, yeah,
whatever.
that we'd have to fly down and then back up, I guess.
Right.
You'll go to
technically,
Florida and
right?
come back up.
Mark,
Be-
am
so
I
it'd
being
be-
Listen, or Dave or Robert, if you guys want to, I mean, Ryan being in Chicago, if you guys want to go back last week, Ryan can kind of give you just a little recap, obviously, of his experience and his thoughts on being there with the team and what they had to say post race.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the things we were going to ask anyway. So yeah, that would be awesome if you could do that, Ryan.
Yeah, well, the race recap is relatively short, so we won't. But it was unfortunate that they really didn't push the car real hard in practice and qualifying. One, because like everybody else, they really didn't want to have to go to a backup car, and two, they also knew that a lot of guys were, because that track or that course is just so tight that they knew that guys that were pushing hard, to try things in practice and put down good qualifying laps or running qualifying laps in practice, they were running the risk of getting in the wall, which plenty of them did. So we weren't too concerned about the starting position other than you don't want to be in the back, which is kind of how you end up in a mess sometimes. So the car felt like the car was good, but they, guys start stacking up in front of you and get wrecked out. So, and prior to that, there was a power steering issue that kind of was exacerbated when they got the radiator pushed in a little bit. So I think there were going to be some issues on the power steering side throughout the race had they avoided the mess that they could have managed, but it would have been difficult to run that entire race because the power steering issue was going to probably be there the rest of the day. But unfortunately, when the radiator got pushed back, that ended their day anyway. But outside of that, we had a great weekend. We had a lot of folks out to dinner Friday night. We had the XM radio guys. We've had Mike Bagley and Pete Pistone, and we got to meet the producer Sammy, who I haven't met in person before. And we had Jason Kimner, had a big group with Impel Union. We had a smaller room last year. This year we had to upgrade to the larger dining room for the Friday night dinner, but it was a lot of fun, and had a good post race time Saturday night. The post race review with Jeremy's crew and Mark and them wasn't great, but that's just kind of where we were. But they're pretty focused on Pocono, obviously. So we're hoping that we had a great weekend in Chicago, but hopefully race wise will be better in Pocono.
I think, Robert, one of the things Ryan had said earlier to Mark and I was that, when we were getting kind of our own race recap on Chicago, that, Jason and his group stayed for the entire race and just still enjoyed being there, being at the race, and didn't let the unfortunate finish with them as primary sponsor, bring them down. And to Jason's credit, what a great host, for hosting the gang that are there. And again, we're thrilled to have him and Tate on the car. I think one thing, as you had alluded when we were speaking for a few minutes before the podcast started, where the hauler is parked in Chicago, obviously it's at a great distance. And with not having those power steering parts there, that limited what they could do. Having been in Darlington when Jeremy had, an unfortunate situation take place and they pushed off the track, that was very close to the pit stall at the time. And all the crews were on it, running back and forth. But when they had to take the car back to the hauler, and when you see, kind of a mature crew, having to blaze back down to the hauler, and how well that, the entire JCR full-time team worked and the over-the-wall pit crew guys worked, just as a sponsor that there as a spectator, I was very impressed with the 51 team that day. And again, proud to have our association that we do with them as a group.
Yeah, 100%. I made a comment. I think Dave and Bobby would agree with me that there's no quit in this team. If there is any way to get back on the track, they'll do it, no matter what they have to do. And that Darlington race definitely was a testament to that. Yeah, they were all running They all were working on the brake line. I believe it was the brake line that got sheared off when he hit the wall. And, they came back out and they were laps down, but they still earned more points than what they would have if they mailed it in and said, screw it, we're done for the day. And like you were saying, but with Jason keeping, being a guest or a host, I should say, at Chicago, that was an awesome race. That Xfinity race. I mean, it was crazy with Shane Van Gisbergen and Kyle Larson going back and forth, and it just like I've always said, and I think Bobby and Dave have always said, Xfinity racing, in my opinion, is the best racing there is out of all the series. It's so much fun, a lot of talented drivers, and I really enjoyed the race. I watched the whole race, even with Jeremy being out. So, which I usually do if I don't fall asleep.
Agree. I mean, Xfinity racing's always been good, but with the new discipline on the street race, and it was a different type of racing. It was actually probably even better racing than we've seen in some other Xfinity races on traditional tracks. And you can see we were up in the grandstands probably for those last 10 laps. And, not that I'm any sort of genius, but I was like, you could just watch Van Gisbergen, and I was like, he's coming and they're not going to be able to stop.
No,
and sure enough, it was good, clean racing, but it was just a different style that, obviously he's talented with. And I hated to see him exit the race on Sunday, but it was different style racing. You could see guys that were good at it and see guys that weren't. And, you could see him coming, and then his, post-race celebration and all that was really pretty cool.
I must say that new celebration is awesome. I'm sorry, Dave.
Yep, I was just leading towards that. If he was anywhere close to getting the rugby ball.
Well, actually, he kicked it in the stands on the other side of the track from us. So I was kind of disappointed about that, but we were right across the track from where he was, and he turned and kicked it into the stands on the other side. But that's kind of cool.
When I was able to be in Chicago last year for the race, I tell you, I know it was the first one, on the street course and everything. And hats off to the people that organized that event. Just, we were able to walk around, and then there was some rain delays, and just the facilities that they had set up in a temporary fashion. I mean, temporary because, it was right in the middle of the streets, but hospitality tents and the security. I mean, I know it was the first time, and there was so many crazy logistics that went into it, but I certainly did appreciate what went into it for all the fans. And, I know there was some maybe negative publicity about the roads being closed and all that. I mean, obviously it's the heart of downtown in the major city, but I certainly hope that, I know they welcomed everybody back this year, but anyway, I guess I'm just what I'm trying to say is just the logistics that went into was unfathomable, and it seemed to go as well as it could have last year, despite the rain and everything. And from what I've talked to Ryan, he just said everything seemed to go very well again this year. And with the great weather, hopefully they'll have us back for many years.
Yeah, they made not a lot of changes, but they had made some improvements to kind of how the fans kind of entered and exit, and just kind of people getting in and out of there, teams getting in and out of there. That was one of the big sticking points last year, was the crossover bridges and where they were and how you could get to and from different places. So they added a bridge there, which made a big difference for the teams. So they did some small things to make it a little bit better. And from my understanding, it was a 3-year contract with Chicago, that it's basically they have a drop dead date for renewal, which they didn't have to renew last year. My understanding is there's a drop dead date for renewal for next year, which I think everybody kind of assumes that they'll exercise that, but they don't have to. But I think with the better weather, better turnout, still some weather issues on Sunday, which not as bad, but not great. But to jump forward a little bit from the advent of the countdown clock, which I thought was great. And I think you may see that in some tracks that Chicago, one of the things they have when they host a race there, I mean, they have a drop dead curfew for events in that park. So when your curfew's 9:30, that means all activities stop like at 9:30, not 9:31 or 9:32. So I was glad they did that. And, and there's some talk that if you're at a track that does not have lights, if you're pushing cautions, whatever the case might be, where you're up against sunset, where they can establish a time so teams can manage and strategize towards the end of the race like they did in Chicago. So if it gets pushed beyond regulation, where the drop dead time is 8:37. So if the race is going to go beyond that, then they put you on the clock, which is like they did in Chicago. And the little bit of racing that I did off-road, they always did it that way. You'd run 45 minutes, or in some cases, an hour and 15. And when the leader took a lap after the clock expired, then in that case, it was 2 laps. So I liked it. Some people didn't, but I think it allows teams to know what they're up against versus saying, is it dark out there? Well, leader says he can't see anything, but the guys behind him say, yeah, I mean, sun's still up. I can see, I'm fine. So I think you may see that creep into some other races, which if it's managed correctly, I don't think it's a bad thing. But that was one thing in Chicago that I thought was NASCAR did a better job versus how they managed the weather there last year up against the regulations imposed by the Park Service there. So that was a long answer, but I thought it was important.
Are you talking about like with the lightning and this, that, and the other?
Right.
The delay. Yeah, I do remember like NASCAR had their certain rules, but the Park Service had a longer period that they had to abide by. But yeah, I do remember that vaguely now.
Mm-hmm.
So were you guys able to go to any of the concerts or any of the events they had in the park?
They did have everything on Saturday, of course, was a go. Sunday, we didn't go back to the track, so I'm not sure what they got in on Sunday because we weren't there. But everything, which to their credit, they kept the track facilities open through the end of the concert Saturday night, which was the Chainsmokers. So they didn't you didn't have to exit the track, get out of there. But the concert was going on, you could stay in the grandstand, stay wherever you were until the concert was over. So I mean, I thought that was pretty good. But I know they ran into issues on Sunday because of the weather. But on Saturday, I think everything ran on time, and it was really awesome.
Truth be told, Ryan had moved from the grandstand back to one of the suites to enjoy the concert and all the provisions that came with being in one of the suites.
And my only complaint was concert stage wasn't in front of the suite where I was at. So I could see the concert. I could just hear it off to the side. So that's my only complaint.
Now, one thing that I was watching on TV, it looks like probably the grandstands behind pits looked like it was almost a permanent fixture. Like had the fancy roof and was really nice. Is that a permanent fixture now for the street course?
Not. That's something that they've built the last couple of years, and a little bit better this year than last year. Not significantly different, but I mean you certainly would think but it's basically, very nice high dollar scaffolding, which actually put elevators on either side of it. And it's grandstands, I think maybe 3 levels technically. But it is something that they put up and tear down just for that event, along with everything else that's there.
Right. Yeah, I was watching it and I'm going, that's a really nice structure. And I'm kind of from the Chicagoland area. And I was looking at it and I'm like, that didn't used to be there. Yeah.
Really, it does look like the way that, they do the backdrops and the curtains and all the facades that they put around. I mean, it definitely looks like it could be a permanent structure, but it's something that they put up and tear down for the weekend, which is amazing, really.
If
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken, that is there for Lollapalooza also, because I was there a couple years ago for Lollapalooza, and I believe that was there. Because and you're serious about the 9:30 curfew, even with Lollapalooza, they had to be done at a certain time, and you're out of there.
Yeah, which is, probably a good thing, on a lot of levels, but
Yeah. So
And no curfew in Talladega. Let's not forget that.
yeah.
I sent out some text messages today to try to facilitate. We were fortunate enough to take 2 RVs last year, and a strong presence from the Spartanburg area, so we had a good time for sure. That goes without saying at Talladega. If you don't have fun there, you got issues.
That's a bucket list track for me. So
Yeah.
hopefully in the next couple of years I'll be able to go.
So is your sights on Talladega Boulevard?
We had one of the RVs posted up one row back off the boulevard.
So
It's
you're
very
right in the thick
convenient.
of the action then.
That I mean, you know
Yeah.
how the saying goes. That puts it mildly. Yes.
We should also think, Robert, we should also give credit to Ken Stevens, Ray's dad at Flying Form, because for years they've had multiple spots at Talladega, and they actually allowed us for Friday and Saturday. We were on the backstretch, which became Command Central for cooking for our group and everything else. But again, hats off to the guys at Flying Form, because they really made for a terrific spring experience for the Spartan Waste guys.
yeah,
That's awesome.
That's
one of their big events. So they know how to do it in Talladega. Some of those guys are getting a little age on them. They don't run as hard as they used to, but they still run pretty hard.
Shit, they run harder than me. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, well, and now they run harder than me too.
But I mean, yeah, when I'm just gonna piggyback on what Mark said about Ken's generosity. I mean, we had, our kids came up and they're doing their activities throughout the day and hungry, and Ken's like, man, y'all fix you a plate. I mean, and it wasn't just like bologna sandwiches over there. I mean, steaks, and everybody is welcome, and they certainly make you feel welcome. And yeah, it's just we've developed so many great friends through this experience that we've had.
Again, and I think we might have said this on the first podcast, and at least for me, my focus group is only one, the Jeremy Clements Racing Team, right? But and we thank Ryan obviously for bringing us into this situation, but anybody who is a sponsor, associated with this team, it's all like we're cut from the same cloth, and truly everybody pulling on the same end of the rope to support JCR. And when we do have opportunities to be at the track together, there's nothing better. It truly is a lot of fun.
It goes pretty deep with our fellow sponsors. Like on Father's Day, you roll over and you're flipping through your phone or whatever, and Steve Carnes from First Pacific Fund, he's like, "Happy Father's Day, gentlemen." And if anyone unfortunately has any type of health issue, I mean, everybody genuinely cares, sending flowers to the family. I mean, it's a tight-knit group, and I feel more than lucky. I mean, I truly feel blessed to be a part of this team, not just this team, but the whole JCR organization. Tate has been a tremendous host to us in his house, and LJ, it's just a tremendous group of people. They genuinely care and ask about your kids and your family. It's a special group. Without beating a dead horse, I just can't put enough emphasis on how much I appreciate that aspect of it, the true friends that we've made.
Now, we brought this up on the first episode, and we've been kind of hitting and messing around with it. So, have you guys thought about the Thanksgiving scheme anymore?
Listen, I'll speak, and I'll give Mark Mullen full credit, but for the past 3 or 4 Martinsville races that we've sponsored in the fall, it's always been a Halloween themed car, and Michael Maselli obviously always knocks it out of the park, and we're always thrilled. And with the race being November 2nd, Mark said, what if we did a Thanksgiving scheme? And honestly, I don't know if it's ever been done in NASCAR before, because, you know, you figure you're going right to the championship, you know, so soon after Martinsville that, you know, most people are thinking about that, not necessarily Thanksgiving. But, you know, Maselli, truthfully, for those of us that have seen the scheme, he has hit it out of the park with this one. And the crew shirt's going to be outstanding. And we will have a lot of fun, and we will stand out on the track. And so, again, that was Mark's idea, and Maselli brought it to fruition, and it's going to be great.
Yeah. Some small tweaks to do it with, as far as, you know, what we might do associates wise, and some things that aren't final, but the general car design, the concept is pretty solid.
Yes.
Gobble gobble.
Looking forward to seeing it. I know we mentioned gave some suggestions when we talked with you guys and Michael Maselli. So curious to see when that car comes out if any of those concepts or suggestions were used. So, but yeah, I agree. Your Martinsville cars for Halloween and now Thanksgiving are bar none some of my favorites of the year. So
One of the things that was an interesting fact is when they have the postseason Simpson displays at their national headquarters that everybody goes to visit, there was the mannequins. I think it was Jeremy was touring it or whatever, and he snapped a picture and sent it to us all. And one of the mannequins for the whole world to see was the top of the Spartan Waste Fox Sports Spartanburg fire suit, or one of the tops with the Halloween design on it. It's just
awesome.
You know, out of all the ones for the whole season that they could have chosen to display, it was one of ours. So we're obviously proud of it.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Yeah, listen, we should delve into Pocono, because at least for Mark and I, you know, I suppose each track can claim, you know, signature status for some way, right, in some form. But truly, for the Tricky Triangle here and the legacy of racing and that part of Pennsylvania, that part of the country, I mean, at least for Mark and I, we can't wait to be there. And certainly Ryan has been there before, but, you know, I'd welcome hearing Ryan's thoughts myself right now on how things are lining out for us this weekend.
Well, it's one of the tracks where, it's obviously a very big facility and it's a very fast track. So that can present some challenges, you know, depending on you. If you don't have a fast car there, then you're just done. With stage racing, it'll help. But I do like the unique aspect of the track layout. But it being as long as a track as it is, it can present some challenges.
Now, with that being said, being the sponsors on the car, with a wink and a nod, do we have a fast car for Pocono?
The paint scheme is.
We always mention fast car. Yeah.
I talked to Mark Setzer earlier today, and he had Lonnie, the engineer, with him, and they were working on the car. And I'll just put it to you this way: Mark was pretty enthused about this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
I was wondering if it was more than a carburetor for this weekend, or if we got a couple of horses in the stable.
You'll have to tune in and see it.
I got you.
So I was going to ask, we were going to try to do like a fan get together, Area 51 fan get together at Pocono, because there's a handful of our friends and viewers that are going to the race as well, and we've never been there before for a race. So Bobby's been there when there hasn't been a race, but I've never been there, period. Where is a good place to do a meetup, Ryan, that you could think of? Because we were thinking of, once we got there, we were trying to find something, but since you've been there already, that would probably give us a little head start of letting people know where we may do the meetup at.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends if the folks aren't going to be parking or in the infield area. Obviously, it may be better to do it, outside the track.
And so.
Yeah, probably. And I think and you can pull the map up, but it's like maybe gate 10 or 11, which is kind of right behind the midway fan zone area, which, ultimately right behind the start finish line on not the infield side, but and there's a pedestrian tunnel that runs, basically kind of across the start finish line. So if folks were in the infield, they could come out that way. And probably there's a S lot there, and I think it's gate 11. But for folks that weren't going to be in the infield, I would say it'd probably be better and more to do if you did it, on the fan zone side. And if folks were in the infield and wanted to come out, the tunnel comes out basically right there. So if you pull the map up, I would say somewhere in that area, because a lot of times folks that aren't in the infield don't buy or paid access to go into the infield, but you can always come in and out if that's where you're already, parked.
So is there a tunnel that goes underneath the track, or is it just a tunnel that goes to the track surface and then you can go across?
No, there's a pedestrian tunnel that goes under.
Oh,
So
okay.
you have access. There's only gate 1 is the only vehicle tunnel, which is that's the only access for vehicles. But there is a pedestrian tunnel that comes in pretty close to the start finish line. The turn tunnel, which is where the tunnel comes in to the turn, it's a long ways from there. But there is a pedestrian tunnel where you can get back and forth.
Okay. Do they close that down at any time? Do you know?
They should not, no. I mean, shouldn't be any reason that they would, no.
Okay.
It should be open access throughout the entire day. Now you have to have access, you have to have a ticket in the infield in order to get back in there. So if folks are parked outside, I guess what I'm saying is if some of your folks that want to do a meetup, they might not be able to get into the infield. But folks that are in the infield
Can't go out.
can come out and re-enter to the infield.
Yeah, that's
So
what
it'd
I
be
was
better to do
thinking
it.
about. If Bobby and I were in the inside and our friends and stuff were outside, that we'd be able to go out and meet with them at a certain location. So as long as they don't close that tunnel down where we wouldn't be able to get back in.
No, I mean it's like the regular pedestrian tunnel, and Richmond, Bristol, wherever, it's open access, or typically open access all the time.
Okay. Well, that's good. Really looking forward to this race. It's a cool track, super fast, and obviously never been there before. And
You have
with our
no
logo on the
idea.
car, that makes it even better, and especially with you guys on the car as the primary. So, being the first guest on the show and our logo on the car with you guys, it's just, I don't know what to say. It's just awesome.
I'm grateful. Thank you guys again.
Yeah, totally grateful.
And we've
Y'all
all
gonna
came
be
to
there.
an agreement that with me being the sheet metal guy, this is one piece that I don't want to have. I would like to see I'd like to see the car in one piece at the finish line, so it doesn't end up around here.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Well, I mean, even if it does, we can still, if it's in victory lane, we can snatch a piece off of it.
So what you're saying is I should bring my battery powered Salvo?
Yeah. Yeah,
This piece is brought to you by DeWalt.
It's been known to happen before, so.
Oh, geez. So, do you guys have any upcoming events at RJ Rockers or Spartanburg or the Spartanburgers baseball games or etc.?
Well, tomorrow night at Rockers, we're going to do the regular Wednesday show. So all the folks listening, we'll have Jeremy on at the 5 o'clock spot on Fox Sports Spartanburg. And these guys, among others, will be down there. So, You can find it on the TuneIn app or on our app or on the website. Jeremy's gonna be on, should be right around 5 for probably just that one segment, maybe 2. So we're gonna do that, and then we don't have any planned events with the Spartan Burgers yet, but we're working on that.
Yeah, I can tell you that, you know, when we had the Spartanburgers on the car for the Charlotte race and we had 6 local Spartanburg based entities on that car, which was great, that we've had some in-depth discussions about what's going to be taking place next year, not only with their continued sponsorship, at least for Jeremy, but then also what we're going to be doing with Jeremy and the baseball team at the field. So stay tuned. You know, that'd probably be a good weekend or week when things are announced to be coming to Spartanburg, because it'll be a fun time at the ballpark.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was
right
really
in the
looking
heart.
forward to having Jeremy on. You know, the night after our Charlotte show, he was on the Rise Guys, and he did awesome at the Facebook fussing. I was gonna try to bust his chops, and that was just funny to watch him role play like that and roll with Fat Boy and Nine and all those guys.
Yeah, that's a little different show than our Wednesday evening
Oh.
show.
Oh,
So I like the
100%.
fact that he's got a good personality to do one or the other, and he does them both very well.
Yeah.
And I guess we haven't said why the podcast is rolling, but Jeremy, incredibly sorry to be unfortunately missing tonight because he was slated to be on with us, but he's got unfortunately a wife that's sick and a baby that's sick, and so he's doing the right thing by helping out around the house, and he'll look forward to joining you guys again as the season continues on.
Absolutely. Family comes first, and that's most important. And we totally understand. You know, he'll be back on or be on our shows at some point. We know that. So we're just glad that we're able to have the opportunity to talk to him and be part of this whole process with Jeremy Clements Racing and you guys and the other partners and stuff, and help promoting him and you guys through this podcast and other, racing teams that, and like crew members and whatever that don't get the chance to get that exposure. So, but yeah, Jeremy, I hope Courtney and Kennedy feel better soon, and we'll catch up with you at the track this weekend, and then we'll have you on again whenever it works.
Absolutely.
Sounds great.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
So we know you guys are busy. We know you guys wanna get home to your loved ones. So we will see you guys this weekend. It's coming fast. And I just looked at the radar. There is no rain in the forecast.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
That is good. Well, I look forward to tuning in next week when you guys are giving your own recap of the Pocono race and the experience. So again, hopefully team dinner at the Mohegan Casino there in Pocono, and hopefully somebody hits it big, whether it be you, Bobby, or Robert, Adrian, or we get someone on the 51 team. And Setzer's planning on going on a cruise week 2, I think, of the 3-week break. And God, I'd love nothing more than to see that guy hit it big and have some vacation money coming into his pocket.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Looking forward to it. And we're so grateful that you all are inviting us in to the team dinner and everything. And we really greatly appreciate it.
It'll be fun. We'll look forward to seeing you guys on Friday.
It's gonna be
All
fun.
right, sounds good.
Sounds good,
Cheers and
guys.
safe
Thanks.
travels.
Cheers,
See you guys.
Take care.
Yep.
You guys have safe travels to Pocono.
You as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See ya. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
All right. So that is segment 1 and 2, brought to you by Spartan Waste and Alliance Drive-Away Solutions. I cannot tell you how freaking excited I am for this. I have been holding it in all week. And it's now Tuesday and I'm ready to explode because it's race week, baby. I'm ready to get this show on the road.
Well, when I got the text message invite this morning, it like became reality. I was like, this is freaking cool. This is awesome. This is going to be a lot of fun. Unfortunately, again, bummed big time that you can't be there with us, Dave, because you're a big part of this whole thing. So, but at some point we will get together and definitely be at a race. Charlotte, Darlington, wherever it may be, we'll definitely do something.
Now,
Well, if Bobby's luck goes as good as he says it is, and can win over at the Mohegan, Charlotte Douglas is only like 3 exits away from me, and only about another 20 minutes to Concord to the racetrack. So
the timeout. If I win at a casino, that has nothing to do with me sending you to Pocono.
Well,
No,
I think
no,
we charter
no.
a jet.
I know. I'm saying you guys coming down to Charlotte.
Oh yeah. No, I thought you meant you wanted to come to Pocono with my winnings.
Oh, yeah. Send one
we'll
of
get
those private jets my way.
Yeah, exactly.
So Brandon Henry just put in the live chat, and he said, "If it rains again, I'm going to retire."
Yeah. I hopefully not, and hopefully the humidity's not
It's
that
supposedly
bad.
it's supposed to be hot as could be, but
Yeah.
Rob, I'm gonna let you do your segment 3 unless we let since Ryan did it.
I can basically add a little to what Ryan did. I mean, basically he summed it up. But so segment 3 is the Xfinity Series race recap from the Chicago Street Race, brought to you by Action RV. Basically, practice. Jeremy's car. He was P29 in practice. Lots of cautions, like Ryan was saying. A lot of the teams were pushing it, and a prime example is Justin Allgaier. He destroyed his car in practice and had to go to a backup. And actually, there were 8 cars that actually went to the rear of the field, either due to suspension steering or damage from hitting the wall or the tire barriers. So
now hold on, Rob. Justin Allgaier had that car. That car was fine. It was not going to be a backup car until the 43 or 44 or whatever the heck number that was that came whipping back there.
Yeah.
And all I heard out of Justin Allgaier's radio was, "That guy's a freaking moron."
Yeah, so it was Alon Day, and yeah, he was in the 45 car, I think, or something like that. And what happened is he said his spotter didn't, I think from what I remember, his spotter didn't say, "Hey," and that he's there, and he blasted him and destroyed, well, obviously both of their cars. I mean, the Alon Day's whole right side of his car was completely ripped off, the sheet metal and the insulation, everything on the door. And yeah, and you're right, Bobby. Yeah, he spun out and hit the wall. He had some damage that could have been repaired, and he wouldn't have had to go to a backup. But yeah, he got smoked by Alon Day, who ended up ultimately not making the field because he couldn't qualify. And the thing with this race, the Xfinity Series field for the Chicago Street Race was stacked. I mean, you had some Cup guys racing in it. You had some road course ringers that raced in it. So it was a pretty stacked field. And it was in my opinion, it was a really good, fun race to watch. You got, Larson and Shane Van Gisbergen going back and forth to the point where, I mean, it was clean racing. Van Gisbergen passed Larson and gave him the thumbs up, like, "Hey, thanks for not like using me up there." So that was cool to see. But I mean, it was a good race in general. But to get back to Jeremy, so his car was tight on right-hand turns and loose off corners. He couldn't give it gas, so he had no grip or forward grip. And then during practice, the shifting light went out, so he had to have a crew member actually crawl in through the window to re-plug it in and fix it, because he needed to let him know when he needed to shift on the course. And then after adjustments were made at the end during practice, at the end of practice, he said he was still loose and was losing forward drive. So and it was getting worse as they were going along. He did qualifying in Group 1, ended up qualifying P34. That trend continued to continue with the car being loose. Couldn't get back on the gas to get it to drive off the corners. And Jeremy was told Mark to be cautious on adjustments, because he didn't want the front end of the car turn to go away by doing too much rear end adjustment to try to tighten the car up. So they ended up starting the race P30, four cars ahead of Jeremy. Like I said earlier, 8 cars went to the rear. 4 of those cars were ahead of Jeremy in qualifying. The other 4 were at the end because they had crashed and went to backups right away. So he started P30. Caution flag came out on lap 8. Jeremy was running P31 at the time. Jeremy advised that he had ran over some debris from the wreck, and at that time he mentioned something was wrong with the steering. He said, "I can't keep the car straight. Feels like it was at COTA earlier in the year." So they ended up pitting, I should say, but took 4 tires fuel, and they raised the hood to check to see if anything was loose in the steering rack or the steering system on the car, and they didn't see anything. He restarted P35. And then they restarted, and on lap 12, the cars bunched up on turn 11, and Jeremy had nowhere to go, and he rear-ended a car in front of him, pushed the whole nose of the car in, and like Ryan said, it damaged the radiator and made the steering issues worse. Jeremy at that point said, "Hey, I lost the power steering in the car." They came in, put some fluids in it, power steering fluids in, to see if it would help. It didn't. Ultimately, they limped the car to the end of the stage, and at finished stage 1 P37, and they never exited the pits at stage 2 because the radiator had a hole in it. It was leaking, and the power steering was out from the wreck on lap 12. So they DNF'd. First time this year, actually first time DNF in a long time, that as far as I can remember. And he finished P37. So very disappointed. You could tell Mark and Jeremy were, but I mean, there's nothing they could do about it. And it was, the power steering was already going before the accident anyway. So turning right and left on a 2.2 mile course, it would have destroyed. I mean, no, He-Man, it would have been a problem for. I can't even imagine. You know, I've driven a car, an old, car before, muscle car that didn't have power steering, and it's like, holy crap, how the hell did you drive these things? And now you got a car going 100 miles an hour with no power steering, and you got shifting and braking and all kinds of stuff. Just, I can't even fathom how they can do that on an oval, much less a road course. So, there was no quit in the team. again, it's just unfortunately there's an unfortunate incident again. It's just been bad luck this year, and hopefully, we'll bring them some good luck at Pocono. So I don't know, Dave. Do you have anything for story time today, or?
I unfortunately don't this week. It's been a rough week down here in North Carolina between the heat, humidity. I'd like to give a great shout out to AT&T Fiber Optic for letting me not take a shower tonight. I really appreciate that. But yeah, nothing new to report this this week. I'm just glad I look somewhat presentable and nobody can smell me.
So AT&T is what you're saying is AT&T is not smarter or faster than Xfinity Internet?
Nope. I would like to thank Xfinity Internet for actually letting this happen. I do have Xfinity down in my house, and it's faster than Joey Logano's car, which I'm glad he came in fourth. But yeah, everything's going good down here in the Carolinas. I was really expecting Matt to say the same thing. It's just been it's hot. We desperately need some rain down here, but Chicago took it all this week, so we'll get some, and everything will get back to normal. And yeah, I'm super excited for you guys to go to Pocono. You don't know how hard it is for me to sit on the sidelines, and but I can't wait to see pictures, and obviously we'll be FaceTime and all that good stuff. I hope you guys have just a stellar time.
And I told you, I promise you, I will send you a love package.
Yeah,
So
we're gonna send you something from both of us. It's gonna be epic. So just
well,
hold tight, and you'll get it probably a week after we're back.
It's no worries at all. I'm proud we were able to do this as a team, and you guys get to have a sweet ass experience. This is stellar. I know everybody's put in a lot of hard work for this.
This is when I wish we all could be on this camera at one time and just high five each other, because we did awesome. I appreciate everything that you guys do.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you too, Bobby.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you both, Dave and Bobby, for everything you do. And yeah,
While we're talking about it, I'll share it one more time. If you didn't catch it when we started the show, there is the Pocono car. The green, neon greenish blue Spartan Waste Spartan or Fox Sport Spartanburg Chevy. And if you look down there, you got Impel Union, you got Alliance Driveway Solutions, you got our Area 51 Racing podcast, and then you got Beach Ridge on there. So it's probably one of the coolest cars I've seen. I can't wait to see it in person, because I have yet to see these chrome numbers in person. So I'm excited about that, and got to give credit to Michael Michelli. He did a heck of a job. I mean, absolutely fan-freaking-tastic.
Yep.
While we're
I really
talking
like
about,
I like it that it's the flip of Charlotte.
yeah. While we're on the subject of paint schemes and great artwork, I gotta give one hell of a shout out to Anna. She did these stickers for us, and she had them all done, and she had to redo them all, every single one of them. And this is the final product, and I will tell you right now, they absolutely are freaking on fire. I absolutely love them. We are selling them. They're $8 a piece. They will go fast. We have already, out of the 250 of them that we are going to have made, we have sold 175 of them. So please, if you have not bought any, message me, message Rob, message Dave, and get your stickers. They are 5x5s. And like I said, they are gonna go fast. We're gonna probably do another round of them, but it will not be 250 of them like we're doing on the first run. But I will say Anna did one heck of a job on these. Absolutely cannot thank her enough for all the hard work that she has put in, the hours and upon hours of time that she put into them. So I want to give a big shout out to her. Um,
Yeah, I agree. I want to thank her too, that they look amazing.
yeah,
They turned out awesome.
Yeah, Rob and I are gonna meet her on Thursday. She's gonna come down to where I'm at, so that way we all can meet up. And she's gonna hand us the stickers and a few other things. Dave surprised us with some really cool looking shirts. So we finally get to see those. So thank you again.
Yes,
You're
thank you,
quite
Dave.
welcome,
If you guys have not, please go to stickygears.com. Purchase one of those Area 51 Racing podcast t-shirts. They're only $15, and a portion of that money goes right back to Jeremy Clements Racing. Also, don't forget Anna's tumblers. Don't get it twisted. They are fire, just like her stickers. And I'm telling you right now, if she will do anything, come tumbler wise, t-shirts, whatever you guys need. We're talking about doing Area 51 Racing mouse pads and coasters. So that might be in the thing come up. So get a hold of Anna. I will post a link down the road with all of her links and whatnot. Check out the Racing Warehouse. They have Jeremy Clements hats, Armadillo apparel. I actually, since I brought this up, we are going to. I have something to show you guys. Rob, I will let you you or Dave say something for a second, and I will be right back.
Well, I was gonna say we could do story time with Dave, but we already did that.
Well, I'm back anyways.
Okay.
So Lee and Jessica, I know you guys can't see me. So Lee and Jessica are big Area 51 Racing podcast fans. We at Area 51 decided to do something nice for Lee, and we got him an Area 51 suitcase to take to Daytona. So we wanted to surprise him with that. We are going to take that to Pocono, and he will have that for Daytona. So I really wanna thank everybody that our fans, our sponsors, everybody that goes out of their way to help our small podcast. 28 episodes, and it is July 9th. We started this in December. I would have never thought.
Right. And that's why I was just gonna say, and now our logo is on a NASCAR Xfinity Series driver's car. It's gonna be on national TV. It's just
Don't forget, we're on Ashton Higgins' Cars
Yeah.
Tour car for the
I was
rest of
just
the
gonna-
season too.
Yep, I was just gonna get to that too. And then we're on Ashton Higgins' car for the Cars Tour that you can see on was it Flow Racing?
Yeah,
Yeah, Flow Racing. And
they're at Hickory.
Um,
They're at Hickory coming up. So Dave, get your butt to Hickory, man. We got to
I'm-
see that
I'm-
throwback car.
Right. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try my absolute hardest. I just don't think the Camaro's as fast as JCR's, but I'm gonna try to skip out early one Wednesday and head up there and see him.
so you're gonna do like 95 on 85?
Yeah, it's kind of like doing 94 on 94. Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere there.
Yeah.
So I want to give a shout out to our partners who make the podcast possible: Spartan Waste, Impel Union, Alliance Driveway Solutions, First Pacific Funding, Elite Towing and Recovery, Whitetail Smokeless, Fly Inform Concrete Structures, Runner's Roost, Matman Designs, Action RV, Booze Pops, Beach Ridge Barbershop, Jeremy Clements and Jeremy Clements Racing. I can't thank you all enough for everything that you guys do, week in, week out. Jeremy, I want to say I hope Kennedy and Courtney get better soon, and we will see you Friday. Dave, Rob, episode 28 signing off. Episode 29 next week is going to be hella sweet. We're going to have one hell of a race recap. We're going to have a bunch of pictures to show. I am stoked.
Well, not only that, we're going to have retired NASCAR driver and ARCA driver legend Bobby Gerhart.
Bobby Gerhart, and we are going to have his marketing lady, Jessica, on the show. We are looking forward to that episode as well, but we will talk to Bobby, we will talk to Jessica, and then we will go into our Pocono recap. So I am looking forward to that. And Dave, we wish you could be here. We really do. And Rob, I will see you on Thursday, and y'all have a good night, and we will catch you at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Central, or 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Really do appreciate everybody that makes this possible. Without you guys, this podcast does not succeed. So all of our fans out there, all of our friends, our families, I really do greatly appreciate everything that you guys do week in and week out. And I cannot find the Boost Pop jingle, which is unfortunate. So with that being said, y'all have a good night, and we will catch you guys next week.
Have a great week, everybody. And then everyone that's going to Pocono, we're looking forward to seeing you and meeting you. And we'll post where we're going to meet up.
Yep.
Safe travels, everybody, heading to the race this weekend.
Yep, we will see you guys soon. And remember, I just thought about this. Remember, Dave's doing a giveaway. If you can find me out in the stands or out in the crowd, take a picture, send it to Dave, and be like, I found him. So first person to do it gets a piece of JCR side skirt. So y'all have a good night. And
they have a better chance of finding you, Bobby, or me, than you, Bobby, because I walk with a cane and I'm slow, old man slow, I guess you could say.
So,
but if I need to, I'm nimbly like a what was that?
Do I look
spider monkey?
nimbly? Do I look like a house cat?
Yeah. Spider monkey or house cat or whatever it is.
So all right, guys. Well, we will see you guys next week, and definitely looking forward to Pocono. We will share videos. We might even do a live. I think we might do a live on Friday night, maybe Saturday night. We're not sure. We're gonna wing it, but Rob and I are both bringing our computers, and hell, we might have a surprise guest on the show, or 6. We'll never know. We'll see you guys soon, and see you guys next week.
All right. See y'all. Thanks
See
for
y'all.